Hi everyone, it's Diane back to share another card with you today. Welcome. I'm so happy that you've decided to take a couple minutes out of your day to spend it with me. And so I'm going to share a Christmas card idea with you today. Welcome to new subscribers. It's so nice to have you. I hope that you find some inspiration or some ideas. Again, maybe even some entertainment, since I tend to usually make a boo-boo here and there. But that's okay. It always works out in the end. Yeah, it does. So I know I had promised you that I would come back and show you how I finished up a few of those brush-o background cards that we had made on Friday's video. I know I'm getting pop-up advertisements right now. I'm busy. So on Friday's video, we did Fa La 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 La, where I had used a doily to kind of tone down some of the brush-o ink in the background. And we did Happy Birthday, which I think turned out pretty fun. We did Merry Christmas, which also was very cool, trying to get it so that the foil doesn't glare too much there. And so then I went on to make a thank you with one of this is the one that I used, the Coastal Cabana brush-os on, or pigment sprinkles. And then I just added a couple of enamel dots. I did die cut this with a little bit of a lace edge die because I thought that would look nice with the little doily. I really like how my Joy card came out with some gold glitter ornaments that I had from previous years. I had some extra die cuts in a little container, and I just used a couple of those and used a gold pen to draw my ornament string to the top of my card. This was the other La 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 La. I did end up using my little gold leaves that I die cut, and added some of those pearlized enamel effects in real red. This is by Stampin' Up, so you could use what's that stuff called? What's that sparkly stuff called? Well, you can use Nouveau drops, or what's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. If I don't think of it, I'll go grab it. I liked this one a lot, and this might be my winner. This might be the card that I make for my ladies group. Of course, I told you I'd have a new greeting die that I would use instead of, I don't know, I kind of like the Joy too though. And all I did was, this was, I have to really think about this because those pigment sprinkles, you saw that red got all over everything. So I may do some backgrounds ahead of time and just let them spritz with, I think I did some silver shimmer mist on here, as well as some white splatter. And I have some white acrylic. It's by Altenew. It's just white paint in a, spray acrylic. You can very easily just use acrylic paint with a paintbrush, water it down a little bit, and we've flicked spots on cards many times before. And I added one of the little snowflake cutouts by Stampin' Up. Wonderful snowflakes. So I really do like how this one came out. I also like this one. I had some, these were glitter snowflakes that I had left over from, it might have been their cards that we did the last time. But I used that blue sprinkled background on the embossed. I don't know, can you still see the embossing in that, on that white panel? Added a couple glitter snowflakes, and then just a Joy greeting. And I had this one left. I used some Distress Spray stain, mica stain in snowflakes, and spritzed some blue on here just because I don't know why, just for fun. And it was a lighter blue, so I pulled out a lighter blue cardstock, and I don't know what I'll make that one into. So one to go. But those are my brush O cards, and I was really happy to put those all away because I had a mess everywhere here with little sprinkles, but it still is fun. You just have to be prepared to get messy, you know, have those baby wipes and have your work surface covered because they do tend to fly everywhere. As a matter of fact, I went to pull my cardboard up to lay on here, which I use to try to help reduce the glare. And I realized that was the one with the red brush stains on it, and I decided to grab a different one because I don't want to get red all over this. So today, next card that I'm trying to plan is a gnome wobble card. Yeah, moves around a little bit. So I had started figuring out that I knew I wanted to do a gnome on a snowbank and I found this old stamp that I have. This is from 2002, and I had to have gotten this one off of eBay or something because it is like glittered and dirty, and I don't usually keep my stamps in that condition. So this must be one that I just found. But I'll tell you, I really like the font. I thought that he looked cute with the gnome, and so that's the one I'm using. When I started putting it together, I decided that I was missing something in the corner, so I went to Pinterest, of course, for my inspiration, and I saw a maker who had die cut little trees and put a tree on some of hers and put a deer on some of hers, and I thought the tree worked out just perfect. So this is my prototype. I have a couple things I want to change on our card today. I think this layer of a snowbank, I'm going to use some foam dimensionals behind it and pop it up. I mean, we already have some dimension with the gnome, so that's going to work out just fine. I think I want to move the gnome down closer to the front snowbank. And I used shimmery crystal effects along the edge of my snowbank, and I don't like it. I'm not going to use that on this one that we do today. I think that if you use a neutral background for your gnome, it's going to be very beneficial because you'll be able to layer that onto whatever color cardstock you want. I chose cherry cobbler, and you can see not everything is matchy-matchy in this card, which surprised me. Actually, the only thing that matches is I used cherry cobbler ink and the cherry cobbler cardstock. And that's why I think it's important to use a neutral background. I added the little snowflakes in basic gray. It was just a gray background. Let me see. So any of these would probably work well. I was hesitant to use either this one or this because I think that's what I'll probably use in my class, and I just am not sure how many pieces I will be able to cut from the cardstock that I already have, so I didn't want to use that for today. But I think that's probably what we're going to use, and then I don't have to worry about adding snowflakes and glitter and stuff to the back. Oh, in case anybody's new and doesn't know the story on that, I have a women's group that's going to make Christmas cards this year, and I had them last year, so I'm trying to come up with, of course, new designs because they're not going to want to make the same cards. And I'm also trying to be respectful of people's homes. I don't want to use too much glitter and stuff like that. That could potentially make a mess for anyone. So I do try to be careful in my thought process. I also want to make sure that anyone who's not used to making cards isn't discouraged. You know, it's supposed to be fun. Excuse me. And so I decided that I would get a bunch of the pieces cut out, and this die that I'm using, it doesn't go with the Christmas gnomes from Simon Says Stamp, but I did have this in there. Gnome for the holidays, and I don't know what year this was. It must be 2019. But I think this must have come in one of the little holiday kits or something. I do know that Stampin' Up! Also has a gnome set in their holiday catalog this year. So if you're interested, you can always go to Stampin' Up's website and check that out. And there is a die in that one, I believe, as well. It's a little different than this, but there are other gnome dies out there that I'm sure you could be very happy with because they're all so cute. So what I did, I used my outside and I just cut a bunch of bases, and then everybody would have one of these bases that they could add their hat and little coat and beard and nose to. Then I took the detailed die and I cut the hat and coats out of different scraps. This is a wonderful card to use up all the little teeny tiny scraps because you can mix and match them. And then all those little white strips that you've been saving, they're perfect to cut out the beards and the noses. I just kept cutting them out. And I have about a billion more that need cut. These were actually some that I had left over from when I first did this project, and I used these and I added them to gift card holders the first year. Okay, so now you know where I got all my little pieces from. We'll start this card. So I have a half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock that I have cut in half and then scored and folded so that we have a 4 by 5.25, 4.25 by 5.5 inch card base. Then I have a piece of plain white that is 4 inches by 5.25. And then whatever, oh, I did use this one for today. Well, hopefully I have enough of that to cut out more. And this is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. Then I took 2 scraps of white cardstock. They need to be 3 3/4 inches across so that they will fit across your pattern paper. This one is 2.5 inches tall, and this one is 1.5 inches tall. I used a die from Curvy Dies and just die cut them out. You don't necessarily need a curvy die. You can just cut a curve with your scissors. And then, as I said, when I saw that little tree on that Pinterest card, and did I save her name? I should probably tell you that if I saved her name, because that's Heidi Fleetwood. Yep. Oh, she used Gnome for the holidays. See, that must have come with that, because that's the same little die that I'm using, and those are the stamps out of that set. So it must have been Gnome for the holidays. I didn't remember that that die came with it. Maybe it did. But anyways, she cut out some different pattern trees, or she cut out, and you probably can't see my phone on here. One of them had a little deer right there. That one had a little deer. And she has a die. Actually, it looks like it might be the same die that I'm using because it has little dots in it, but I chose to use the edge of the curvy die that doesn't punch the dots out. I wanted more solid. I'm sure there are other curvy dies out there. Just as easy to use. Oh, hold on here. Oh, sorry about that. My brother-in-law is coming into the 21st century. He still had a flip phone, and he got a new phone, and my son is actually trying to help him. So he had a question about how I had set up his email for him. So I don't have any idea what I was talking about. So, where were we? No. Oh, they're so funny. Okay, let's just start putting this card together. before it turns into an all-day thing. So let's take the basic white and add that to our card base and started to tear that. And of course I didn't have my notes up here from when I set his stuff up. Everything was downstairs. Oh, and I think before we put our hillside together, let's stamp our greeting on there. And so I'm using some cherry cobbler. Oh, it's really hard to open. And that 2002 stamp that I really think is cute. Kind of tight to close as well. Okay, make sure I don't have ink on my fingers. And we will layer the rest of this up. Grab some thumb dimensionals. This on my little starry, snowy background. It's a pretty paper. And let's layer this one on. I think I'm going to like this better than I was trying to make the layers a little more noticeable, which is why I added that shimmery effect stuff on there. And I did consider using a brush and just blending a little bit of maybe, well, I guess I had to have gone with a light gray to separate the two hillsides there. But I don't know that I've ever used that shimmery effect, so I wanted to give it a try. And then I was sorry I did. Ooh, I hear sirens. That's not a good thing out here. That'll go in here. We'll put our tree. So let's make our little gnome. So we'll take a base and any hat, any little cloak or robe or coat, punch out the little bits that are still in there. That. A beard. And these are all going to fit together really nice on this base. I love how this will. And a nose. Ooh, I forgot. Let me grab my blending brush from pink. We have to add a little pink to his nose. So if you have a sponge or your blending brushes or little foam makeup things, whatever you might use. I don't know where pink's at. Let's see, how dark is this? Can I get any off there? I don't want him to look like Rudolph. That's why I was going to use something that already had ink on it, but that's pretty weird. No, nothing's coming off of that. That's just craziness. All right, let me try my red. Oh, that'll work. Okay, so this is just my blending brush that I use in my red inks. Come here, little nose. Oh no, I dropped it. Here. Back on there. Just give it a little bit of pink because he's been outside and his little nose is cold. Plenty. Plenty. Okay, and then, because my fingers don't always work the way I want them to, grab my tweezers here, and start gluing this little fella together. So did I even ask how everybody's doing? I hope you're good. I hope you enjoyed your weekend, got to do something fun. Happy Halloween, that's right. Because this is Sunday for me, but it will be uploaded for Monday. So your little trick-or-treaters will be out there. Fun. Oh, I should work my way up so that I get it all matchy. Yeah, I'm anxious to see how many kids we get this year. I have my treats all ready to go. See how those fit together? Just nice. Nose. And a hat. A little blob of stuff on there. I know that really it's probably more fun for the kids if they're trick-or-treating on Halloween. I just like it so much more when they do it on a Saturday. It's not so hard now since I've retired, but when I was working, they always would do trick-or-treat at 5 o'clock on Halloween, and I worked until 5, so I was always going nuts trying to get home. And then, of course, you don't want to drive fast because there's a million trick-or-treaters out there walking around. Right? Okay. He's going to sit there, and I just have to put my little tree down here now. Maybe I should put the tree down here. No, I think I want it there. Keep it like it was. I liked it just fine. When my kids were little, I used to try to make all their costumes. I don't know if that was good or bad. Maybe they felt like they wanted to have costumes like the other kids. You know, like not having the best sneakers like everybody else or something. Maybe I messed up their Halloweens for them. I don't know. I'll have to ask them one day. And then we can add this to our, what am I doing? I'm going to put glue on that. I'm going to use my tape runner. Oh, that would have been a good side to use. I'm a goof. That's pretty, that plaid. Oh, I like the stars. Snowflakes. What are these corner stars? There are little stars in there, I guess. And now for the wobble. Oh, and we have to put a pom-pom on his hat. If you don't have a pom-pom, you can maybe add a little Wink of Stella, or maybe we'll do that last because I'm going to use glue. So I'm just going to take a little backing off of wobbles, and you can most definitely glue your gnome on there flat, or add foam dimensionals to make it pop up. I'm just doing a wobble for fun. again, have the stuff, so I want to use it. I can take the release paper off of the other side. Line this up where I want him to stand on my card. Stop sticking. Not ready. There he is. And we'll add a little pom-pom. And let it dry. He's so cute. And there you go. There is our pom-pom, or our pom-pom, our Wobble gnome. Isn't he cute? Lovely. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. And don't forget to go make a card, send it to somebody and make them smile. And if you're starting to work on your Christmas cards or your holiday cards, pull out some of those things you had sitting there for a long time and use them up. If you don't celebrate Christmas, you can always do a gnome, just with a woodland scene, and use it for a birthday card or thinking of you, whatever the case may be. They'll enjoy it when they get it. Thanks for being here with me. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye.